For millions of older Americans, home is supposed to be the safest place in the world. But what happens when the home you plan to grow old in becomes too expensive to repair, too difficult to maintain, and almost impossible to replace with something smaller? Could one broken furnace, one leaking roof, or one more rent increase completely disrupt your retirement budget? A major new housing law became official on July 11, 2026, and it could eventually change how older Americans repair their homes, find smaller housing, receive rental assistance, and compete in an increasingly expensive housing market. But there is something you need to understand immediately. This law does not mean every senior is suddenly receiving a home repair check. It does not mean rents are automatically going down. And it does not mean affordable homes will appear in every neighborhood tomorrow. What it does mean is that several new housing programs, pilot projects, financing changes, and construction reforms are now moving forward, and some of them could directly affect retirees, low-income renters, rural residents, and families trying to buy a home. Before we break it down, tell me in the comments, what is putting the most pressure on your housing budget right now? Rent, property taxes, insurance, utilities, or home repairs? Also, let us know your city and state, because housing conditions can look completely different depending on where you live. The law is known as the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. It received overwhelming support in Congress, passing the Senate by a vote of 85-5 and the House by 358-32. That level of support is unusual, especially for a major housing bill. The reason is simple. Lawmakers from both parties recognize that America is facing a serious housing shortage. There are not enough affordable homes, construction takes too long, smaller homes are difficult to find, and large corporate investors have been competing with ordinary buyers for properties. For older Americans, this problem cuts even deeper. Your home may be your largest financial asset, but it may also be your largest monthly expense. Even retirees who have paid off their mortgage can still face property taxes, insurance premiums, utility bills, maintenance costs, and expensive emergency repairs. And that brings us to one of the most important parts of this law: helping people remain safely in their current homes. A new whole home repair pilot could support improvements such as wheelchair ramps, grab bars, safer bathrooms, wider doorways, weatherization, energy efficiency upgrades, and the removal of serious health or safety hazards. Think about what that could mean for someone living on Social Security. A bathroom modification may prevent a dangerous fall. A ramp may allow someone with limited mobility to remain independent. Weatherization may reduce heating and cooling costs. A repaired roof or electrical system could prevent a senior from being forced to leave a home they have lived in for decades. But here is the reality that some people will leave out. This is a pilot program. That means the federal government still has to establish detailed rules, funding procedures, eligibility requirements, and local participation. So do not trust anyone who calls you and claims that you have already been approved for a federal home repair grant. Do not pay an upfront processing fee, and do not provide your Social Security number or banking information to an unfamiliar caller. Legitimate programs will normally be announced through HUD, state housing agencies, local housing departments, approved nonprofit organizations, or your local area agency on aging. Repairing the home you already own is one part of the solution, but many retirees face a different problem. They want to downsize, yet the smaller home costs almost as much as the larger one. That makes no financial sense. You may be ready to leave a 3-bedroom house, reduce your maintenance, lower your utility bills, and move closer to family bills. But then you discover there are very few affordable townhomes, duplexes, modular homes, or smaller properties available. This new law encourages communities to allow more accessory dwelling units, duplexes, townhouses, manufactured homes, modular housing, and the conversion of empty commercial buildings into residential units. An accessory dwelling unit could be a smaller home built behind or beside a family member's house. That may allow an older parent to live independently while remaining close to children or grandchildren. Manufactured and modular homes could also provide lower-cost alternatives, particularly in rural communities where traditional housing construction is limited. Another important change involves smaller mortgages. Many lenders are not interested in offering a mortgage of $60,000, $80,000, or even $100,000 because the fees and administrative work may not generate enough profit for them. That creates a ridiculous situation. A retiree may be able to afford the monthly payment on a modest property, but still struggle to find a lender willing to finance it. The law allows HUD to explore a small-dollar mortgage program that could include help with down payments, closing costs, appraisals, and title insurance. That could be useful for retirees purchasing lower-cost homes or manufactured housing. But again, the program must first be developed and implemented. It is not an instant approval system. Renters also need to pay close attention. The law seeks to preserve public and rural rental housing, strengthen parts of the Housing Choice Voucher program, encourage more landlords to participate, and improve complaint resources for tenants dealing with large corporate property owners. That could eventually create more options for older renters, especially those living on fixed incomes. However, this law does not automatically give every eligible renter a voucher. Local housing authorities can still have long waiting lists, limited funding, and too few available units. That is why renters should make sure their housing authority has their current address, telephone number, household information, and income records. People sometimes remain on a waiting list for years, only to lose their place because a letter was sent to an old address or a response deadline was missed. There is also a provision designed to limit future home purchases by very large institutional investors. Companies or investment groups controlling at least 350 single-family homes could face restrictions on buying additional existing homes after the applicable implementation period. This is significant because large investors can purchase properties quickly, pay in cash, and outbid families who need financing. But do not expect this provision to suddenly cause home prices to collapse. Corporations will not automatically be forced to sell the homes they already own. Smaller investors may continue buying properties, and communities with severe shortages may still experience high prices. The realistic goal is to reduce some future competition and give individual buyers a better opportunity, not to create an overnight housing miracle. The law also attempts to speed up construction by reducing delays, simplifying certain federal reviews, and giving communities guidance on zoning reforms. That may make it easier to build apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and other lower-cost housing. Vacant office buildings and unused commercial properties could also be converted into residential housing. That sounds promising, but construction still requires local approval, financing, labor, materials, infrastructure, and time. So, the real impact of this law will depend heavily on where you live and how quickly your state and local community participate. The smartest move right now is not to assume that help will automatically find you. Start following announcements from HUD, your state housing agency, your local housing authority, and your area agency on aging. Ask whether your community already offers home repair assistance, weatherization support, accessibility grants, property tax relief, or senior housing programs. Thanks for watching Social Security Post, and I'll see you in the next video.